The U.S. owes a record $62 trillion. They call it unfunded obligations. That means you, each and every American household, essentially owes more than $500,000. Now take a look at the debt clock, ticking up and up, while Washington can't come to an agreement about how to get it under control before we go bankrupt. Florida Congressman Connie Mack says he has a solution, and he's here in the studio. Congressman, thank you for being here.
Thank you very much for having me.
I look at that debt clock. The numbers are so big, frankly, I can't even wrap my head around it. But you have proposed a solution, at least part of a solution, based on a single penny. What is it? Because it sounds implausible.
Yeah, well, it's pretty simple, and that's what I love about this plan. So Republicans, Democrats, Independents, they can't say they don't understand it because it's very simple. What we do is we take 1%, we cut 1% a year for 6 years. In the 7th year, we cap spending to 18% of GDP, which has been what the historical average has been. In the 8th year, we balance the budget, and after 10 years, we cut $7.5 trillion. And here's the message that I'm sending. Everybody who's watching your show, every American family has had to cut their budget at least 1 penny out of every dollar. Every business out there has had to cut their budget at least 1 penny out of every dollar. And how can the federal government not take 1 penny out of every federal dollar and make those cuts so we can balance the budget?
As you know, Congressman, when you ask Americans, should we balance the budget, they say, yes, I have to balance mine, you should balance yours. But when you talk to them more specifically about things like Medicare and Social Security, which make up 2/3 of the unfunded obligations, they're not so crazy about taking putting those into the mix of what should be cut. So what can Congress do about these kinds of huge numbers for these programs that are so popular?
So let me go back to my bill and tell you what we do. So first thing we do is we say that the Congress and the President must work together to make those cuts, to make that 1% cut. If the Congress and the President fail to act, then there'll be an across-the-board cut. No one wants to see an across-the-board cut. We want to see, targeted cuts that we can preserve programs that we need to preserve, but also make sure that we get our budget in balance. So there's kind of a stick out there to the Congress. Congress and the President work together. If you make the requisite cuts, everything's fine. If not, then there'll be a 1% across the board.
How do you do that in this political season? I was just talking to Robert Reich, as you heard, and his point is, look, for the Democrats, they don't want to admit that there is this problem. For the Republicans, frankly, it works to their advantage, and you are very far apart on how you think you should move forward. Can something get done in this political season, which is so highly charged?
Absolutely, and more importantly, it has to get done. I think both sides recognize that we cannot continue to spend at this level, and the American people have said enough is enough. They've had it. If you come down to my district, they're up to here. They've had it with government programs and government spending. They want to see us get our fiscal house in order. They're angry because they've had to do it at home. And they don't feel like it's their fault. They feel like the government has failed them. And at the same time, the government continues to spend money it doesn't have, that it has to borrow.
So it sounds like you're saying the government has failed them, Congressman.
I think so. When you see the debt and the deficit the way it is today, this is a systemic problem that's not just in this administration. It's gone over a number of different administrations. The American people have said enough is enough. We need to cut our spending. We need to balance our budget. We need to get our fiscal house in order. They've had to do it, and the federal government. See, there's a thing in Washington that members of Congress and the President think that it's Washington's money. They forget that this is your money. This is people who are watching the show. It's their money that they've given or the federal government has taken from them.
Well, I'll tell you, it got my attention to think that every U.S. household owes $500,000. That's a lot of cash that we don't have.
A lot of money.
Congressman Connie Mack, good to see you.
Good
Thank you.